Hi there, welcome to Recap City. Today, I am going to share a 2019 South Korean disaster, an action comedy movie titled Exit. Warning, spoilers ahead. Enjoy watching. The movie starts with a young man named Yong-nam who is doing pull-ups in the park. He still lives with his parents because no matter how hard he applies he can't get a job. Back in college, he used to be brilliant and a star of the college climbing club, where he won several medals in competitions. But currently, he's called the town's weirdo because he spends a lot of time in the pull-up bar at the park. Even his nephew is avoiding him and doesn't want to be called his relative. All his climbing equipment is still in his bedroom, which is considered a waste of space by his sister Jung-nam. His mother is going to celebrate her 70th birthday and the family is planning to throw a big celebration. Yoon-nam recommends that they should do it at the Cloud Garden, which is a bit far from their home. He wants it there because he knows that Eui-ju, his longtime crush and a fellow member of the climbing club, works there, which he hasn't seen since college. During the birthday party, some family members are curious about his life and ask him awkward questions. Things get even more awkward when Eui-ju sees him while lighting the candle on his mother's cake. They then leave the room to talk in private. Eui-ju tells him that she's surprised that he's willing to chat with her after she turned him down when he asked her out many years ago, and that he's been avoiding her since then. Yoon-nam denies it, even though he knows it's true. He tells her that he didn't know she was working there and adds that he's working as a manager in a really big company, which surprises Eui-ju. It's getting late and the party is still going. Manager Gu advises the employees that he and assistant manager Eui-ju will stay late to close the place and that they can all go home. Manager Gu seems to be a nice and caring boss, but the truth is, he's the son of the owner of the building, the reason why he got the manager position. The true reason why he lets the other employees go is so he can keep hitting on Eui-ju, who doesn't know what to do anymore, to make him understand that she doesn't like him. Meanwhile, a truck carrying huge tanks parks under a building. The driver breaks the key before getting out and then proceeds to open the tank's valves to release its content. Just when the security of the building approaches him, an unknown toxic gas was released from the tank that quickly spread throughout the city, killing every person that breathes it in. In just a few minutes the city is in chaos as the people start panicking and begin running for safety, causing accidents on the road. Meanwhile, the people from the Cloud Garden building are not aware of what's happening outside. Yoon-nam's family is about to leave the hall when suddenly a car crash outside sends a gas tank flying through the window. Everyone is scared that they run outside and find the city in chaos. Confused about what's happening, they try asking the people running but no one is paying them attention. Yoon-nam goes to the place they're running away from and finds that a cloud of toxic gas is fast spreading on the streets. Confused about what to do, Eui-ju rushes them all back inside the building, but Yoon-nam stays for a moment to find his sister, who had left to get her car. As Jung-yeon arrives, the gas already reached them, so Yoon-nam takes the risk and helps her right away as she begins breathing it. He manages to get her inside before she inhales enough to die, but she's still in a bad condition and there is a rash on her face. Yoon-nam and Eui-ju look through the window to see the state of the city and notice the gas is rising, so they try to get the family to run to the roof. Yoon-nam's father, Jung-suk, still doesn't understand how serious it is and would rather leave, but thankfully at that moment, everyone gets on their phones an emergency message saying people should go to the highest available points and wait for a helicopter to rescue them. The group starts running upstairs only to find the door to the roof locked. Manager Gu doesn't have a key, so Eui-ju drags him and some family members downstairs to the floors that haven't been reached by the gas yet to see if they can find it. There's a TV on with a government employee explaining how to take precautions. Gas masks are good to prevent breathing this new toxic mist, but they only are good from 10 to 15 minutes. Covering the body as much as possible is also necessary to avoid rashes and blisters. The helicopters are going around rescuing people, but there's no need for citizens to flood them with messages. They'll be rescued as they find them on the way, not in order of calling. Eui-ju remembers the hotel had acquired 3 gas masks some time ago, but she can't find them because manager Gu has hidden them for himself as soon as he heard the announcement. He only takes them out after Eui-ju leaves to find an alternative, so he can try and get one of the family members to go down into the dangerous rooms to search for the key instead of himself or the woman he likes, but none of the others wants to do it. Hearing that the roof door could be opened from outside, Yoon-nam gets an idea. He starts throwing things at the window until he breaks it, then he asks Eui-ju for some rope he could use to climb the building and get the door. Eui-ju gives her the rope together with a hook and some chalk for his hands, then Yoon-nam proceeds to ignore his family's worry and pleas not to do it and jumps to the roof of the building next door. He reaches the railing and slips, but luckily, he manages to hold onto it and climb back. After studying the Cloud Garden building to find good gripping points, Yoon-nam ties the rope to the roof he's on and jumps back to the Cloud Garden, holding himself on the various nubs and decorations on the walls while one of his relatives records him so the whole family can watch him on their phones. After dangerously climbing from nub to nub and making his way around the building walls, he finds he can't reach the last section because the rope is too short and is keeping him back, so he takes a risk and unhooks it, which means nothing can keep him safe from falling now. Yoon-nam continues to go up and, as he remembers his college training, makes a hazardous jump to grab onto a lion head statue. One of its fangs breaks, but Yoon-nam manages to hold on to the other and make it up onto the roof. Wasting no time, he hurries to open the door and let his family in, getting his mother to worry about possible injuries, but Jung-suk scolds him for putting himself in danger. A helicopter flies by and they try to get its attention, but they aren't seen, so Eui-ju decides to try something with their phones. She makes the family form an H and taps their phone screens to send an SOS signal, hoping the next helicopter will see the flashing lights. Meanwhile, the news is revealing the story behind the man that released the gas. The truck driver is a scientist and co-founder of a lab who lost his mind after he was fired from his own company by the executives. The gas has a long life even in small quantities and can spread at an incredibly fast speed. Young-nam's family continues to do their phone light show, but it isn't working, so two of the cousins bring the karaoke microphone and speaker to see if they can be heard. What finally gets the helicopter's attention, however, is Eui-ju making the Cloud Garden street signs flicker. The rescuers allow the whole family to get in except for one person because of the weight limit, and since Eui-ju is the one staying behind, Young-nam decides to stay with her and together they watch the helicopter fly away as they begin to cry. After Young-nam promises Eui-ju that he'll get a good job after all this is over, they keep trying to get the attention of various helicopters to no avail. Seeing as the gas is rising inside their building too, they come up with a plan to leave the place. They put on the masks manager Gu had stolen and covered their entire bodies with plastic bags and gloves, then they put as much rope and chalk as possible in a bag before going out to the streets to try to find help. There's nobody around though, and the mask's lifespan is about to end, so they enter a random building and get to the roof, only to discover the gas has reached there as well. Young-nam changes his mask for the last one they own and goes down into the subway station to get a new one from the train that he brings back to Eui-ju, who has carefully climbed to higher ground after taking a risk by taking off her gloves. At first, she's mad at him thinking he had abandoned her, but she quickly forgives him when she realizes he's been looking out for her. They return to the streets and enter a building with floors that haven't been reached by the gas yet, so they can take off their masks and plastic bag suits. However, the doors to the higher floors are closed, so they'll have to reach the roof of the building next door, which is farther than the ones they've been easily jumping onto. They take some weights from the gym they're in and tie them to the rope so they can throw them across the gap and make them stay straight and tense for easier and safer climbing. Eui-ju goes first since she's lighter and successfully makes it to the other side. When Young-nam's turn comes however, things get complicated. The gas is reaching this roof too because it's entered the ventilation system, so Young-nam goes back to retrieve the masks and throws more rope with a heavier weight to be able to cross faster. In the meantime, it's been discovered that water can dissolve the mist, so firemen have started to work on it, but it'll take a while. Jung-suk and two more relatives pay a taxi extra money to take them to the disaster zone so they can try to find Young-nam. There, they find two men working for a news station, using a drone to enter the dangerous area and find something interesting to stream, so Jung-suk pays them to find his son with it. Young-nam and Eui-ju reach the roof of a new building, where there was a market going before tragedy struck. There are a bunch of cardboard cutouts of people around, so they put them together to make it seem like there are more of them that need rescuing as they begin using their phone lights again to try to get the helicopter's attention. Suddenly, they hear some screaming and realize that in the building across the street there are a bunch of kids locked in a classroom. Eui-ju tries to indicate to them how to use the fire escape, but a kid almost dies trying. A helicopter finally arrives then and starts coming closer to help them, but Young-nam and Eui-ju know they have to do what is right so they start pointing at the kids. The rescuers don't get the idea, so to make it clear, the pair uses the cardboard cutouts and even their bodies to form an arrow on the floor pointing at the opposite building. The helicopter gets the message and saves the kids instead, so now Young-nam and Eui-ju get ready to wait for another one, but this idea is soon discarded when they see a gas station blow up in the distance, sending a wave of toxic mist their way. Eui-ju points at a tower crane a few blocks from there, deciding that's their safest bet, and they leave the building again. The pair starts parkouring all over the city as the drone Jung-suk paid for finds them and follows them around, recording their escape in their process. The news station puts them on TV and now everyone in the country is following their progress and cheering for them, wanting them to make it to safety. After climbing a building by using its advertising signs, Young-nam and Eui-ju make it to a roof that they can't get out of because it's too far away from the other buildings to jump, and at the same time, the drone that has been following them falls because it runs out of battery. Thinking this is their end, they begin crying, and Yong-nam apologizes to Eui-ju for having lied to her, so they hug. Their little moment is suddenly interrupted by a buzzing sound and a bunch of lights. It's a fleet of drones, sent by various citizens that want to help and keep on streaming their adventure. Yong-nam gets an idea and draws it on the floor with chalk for a drone to see, and it accepts to do it. The drone takes some rope and, after a couple of failed attempts, ties it to a pipe on the opposite building, so now Yong-nam and Eui-ju can slide through it. Sadly, because of their weight, they don't make it to the other side. Instead, they get stuck in the middle. Not only that, but their weight also causes the rope to start sliding off the pipe, so Eui-ju takes some pliers from Yong-nam's bag and cuts the rope, hoping they can swing into the building together. At that moment, the rope loosens from the pipe and they fall. The stream suddenly ends, causing everyone to think that they're dead. The rescue pilots lost hope to find them alive but still makes a round just in case. Just when they are about to leave, one of the rescuers saw a sparkling light on a crane and find them there. They manage to reach the crane in time and they are finally flying them out there. At the evacuation site, Yong-nam reunites with his family who are filled with joy as they thought they'll never see him again. While Eui-ju calls her parents and tells them that she's able to get out of the city and that she's fine. Meanwhile, Manager Gu comes running towards her and calls her by a pet name she hates and irritates her with his insincere concern, so she hits him in the face and turns him down for good. Afterward, Yong-nam looks for Eui-ju to give her back the hook that she lent him, but when they see each other, she tells him that he can give it back once they see each other again, indicating that she now wants to see him again. They smile at each other as it starts raining, washing the toxic gas away. Help us grow this channel. Subscribe for more videos every day, turn on notifications and leave a like and a comment. Thank you for watching. See you at the next one.